easy to make, and you can have them for your guests out. And thank you, Mexico. Hi friends, so today we'll be continuing our 7-day Super Bowl recipe series, making recipes so that you can serve your guests. Super easy but delicious, okay? So we're going to be making some vegan sugar cookies. I'm going to show you how to get those together super quick and easy, all right guys? So let's go. To a food processor, you add 227 grams of butter. So guys, I buy my butter in bulk at the local store out here in Mexico. And since I buy it in bulk out here, kind of hard to really measure out the cups, but I would say it will be about 1 1/4 cup of butter if you don't have a way to actually measure it out in grams. So maybe 1 1/4 cup of butter or 227 grams. Next, we're going to add a cup of granulated sugar. So if you don't have a food processor, you can also do this by hand. Just takes a little longer. Just make sure your butter is softened, okay? So that it's easier for you to stir up. So to the blender, we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract and 1/4 cup of your favorite plant-based milk. Add 2 teaspoons of baking powder. You know I like to sift mine, guys, so make sure you don't have any lumps. And we're going to add 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 cup at a time, and then blend. So what we're going to do is take this and put it inside of a bowl, or you can wrap it in plastic wrap, and we're going to put it in the fridge so it can set up and get a little more firm so that we can actually roll them out and use our cookie cutter, okay? So I'll be right back. You can make this dough in advance so that you'll save yourself some time and just pull it out and do all the cutting later on, okay guys? I also want to share that I was using a different type of vegan butter that we have out here in Mexico. So if you're going to use vegan butter, make sure you use the type of vegan butter that you've previously baked with, because some vegan butters are really creamy, so they'll kind of be used more when you're just cooking, you know, like mac and cheese and things like that. This one is more like a vegan butter that you can actually bake with, okay guys? So I'm gonna pop this in the fridge until it sets up nice and firm. It probably take about an hour and a half, or maybe longer depending on how cold your fridge is, and then we'll be back to roll it all up. Our dough has set up in the refrigerator for a few hours, and it's like this now. So now it's not all loose. So what we're gonna do is put some flour down on a clean surface and roll it out to about 1/4 thick inch width, or you know what I'm saying, about that thick. I'll show you now. I don't have a rolling pin. I realized that because I don't make cookies that often. So I'm going to use this little bottle that my hubby got from the hotel and out here in Mexico. And we also do not have a football cookie cutter. Surprise, surprise, I'm out here in Mexico. Football would be soccer. So I had to shape one of my lids to a football shape. So we're gonna wing it and see how it goes, but we'll get that football shape that we're looking for. And Jimmy also suggests to use a cup and just kind of shape it. So let's see what happens. So let's first get it all rolled out, okay? Make sure you keep on adding a little bit of flour to it. Looks like it's gonna need a little more flour so that it doesn't stick to your rolling pin, but just not too much because you don't want to dry out your cookie. One thing about dough is pliable, so you can actually just, you know, cut pieces off and stick them where they belong, and to get that height that you need, so you don't have to worry about messing up. You can't mess this recipe up, all right? You really can't mess it up. All you do is play with it and roll it out. That's what makes it fun. All right. So I think that's about the thickness that I'm looking for. You can make them as thick and or as thin as you like, but I want it to at least be a 1/4 inch thick because we're gonna make some royal icing, and I want the cookie to be able to hold up to that. So I think that's about even. We'll find out when we cut. This side looks a little shorter. Well, let's see. Woo! Look at that. Perfect football shape. And this is just from a mason jar lid. This is just what I envisioned. It's what I was envisioning, but I was hoping it turned out right. Yay, this is pretty cool. So I guess you can use a mason jar lid and squeeze it and make yourself a football cutter. Nice. About that thickness, guys. I'm only going to put a few of the cookies or the dough on the sheet right now because I want to see how far they spread, because last time they kind of spread a little bit. So let's see. And also I'm going to make some smaller ones as well. I'm going to try it with a regular glass to see if that works. Okay, guys? So I'm about to bake these now. So, oh, and also set your oven for 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius, okay? We're going to try to bake these probably for about, let's give it about 10 to 12 minutes, okay? And we'll see how they come out. All right, guys, so our cookies came out too big. All right, so although it seemed like a brilliant idea to use that cutter that I made, look how big the cookies came out. Now, if you want to have that size, that's cool. But I was thinking in my head, a little bit smaller cookies than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put the dough back in the fridge so it can set up a little bit more because it started to get soft. And I'm gonna find something to cut out some footballs, okay, guys? Unless we end up having a round football, you know, like in other countries instead. So hey, we'll see. But anyway, I'm gonna find something and cut it out and we'll make them happen. So I found a lid. This is one of my lids to my jars. We're gonna try this now, and then what I'm gonna do is just shape out some circles and go from there. And what we can do is just make it into, let me see if I just press down, that's better. Press straight down. All right. Oh man. Let's find a different lid. Round two. All right, guys, so I found a smaller dish. This is something that Jimmy uses when he puts his ketchup in, like a little condiment dish. So I cut it out with this and it worked perfectly. The cookies are cooling. We're gonna make sure they cool completely. I stuck them in the fridge real fast to get them to the temperature that I need them to be at. And now I'm gonna show you real fast how to make two different types of royal icing. We're gonna do a chocolate one or just a cocoa based one to get that brown color like a football. And we're gonna do a white one so that we can do our stripes, okay, guys? So let me show you how to do that real fast. For our vanilla icing, we're gonna add 1.5 cups powdered sugar, a 1/4 teaspoon vanilla extract, and 2 tablespoons of plant-based milk. All right, so it's a little more runnier than I want it to be, because this will be if you're gonna flood your cookies and just make the whole base white. I'm using this royal icing actually to do the border and to do the line. So, but this would be the consistency that you will use if you're like flooding the inside of the cookie. And I'll show you that when I'm gonna do that with the chocolate one. But right now I'm gonna add a little bit more powdered sugar, just to get it a little thicker. You can play with your recipe, guys. It's, you know, cooking, that's what cooking's all about. So I need this to be a little thicker. Maybe about a 1/4 cup more. And the good thing about the powdered sweetener and just doing a little icing, you can play with it, add less, add more. You can't mess up. You just add a little bit more plant-based milk to it if it gets too thick. A little bit more. I might be using 2 cups because I need it thick. See how thick that is? That's where I want it to be, really thick. So I don't have a piping bag, so what I generally do is just grab a Ziploc bag, and what I will do is fill up the bag with some icing, grab some scissors, and cut the size of the tip that I want on the end of each bag. So for instance, if I want it to be a thinner like line, I would just cut a smaller tip. And if I want it to be a thicker line, like for the filling or the flooding of the cookie, then I would cut a bigger tip. For our brown royal icing, we're gonna add 2 cups powdered sweetener, half a teaspoon vanilla extract, 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. I'm gonna switch that up a little bit. And we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of plant-based milk. If you have a hand beater, that will work best. But since I don't have one, I'm doing it the old school hardcore way, guys. Put my muscle into it. All right, a little bit more milk. This should be probably the consistency that we need. A little more liquidy than the white, because we're going to just pour this in. Okay, so I finished icing the cookies and look how pretty they look. So they're still a little bit wet, so I got to get them in the fridge to set up. And once they solidify and set up, they'll stay hard on top of the cookie, just like those crispy ice cookies that you get at Walmart. I don't know if some of you guys know what I'm talking about during the holidays. So the little round ones with that icing on top. So they're really delicious. I did taste a little bit of one, and hey, they're perfect for game day. So I hope you like this recipe, guys. And if you like this recipe, stay tuned for the rest of the recipes that we're going to be doing for the week for our game day recipe snacks. All right, guys. So I will see you later on our next video. Bye.